So hello everybody, in this screencast we want to do two things, and the first thing is that we want to add pandoc permanently to our system path so that we can use the pandoc command from each directory. And the second one is that we want to enable also reveal.js slides. So what we do there is we need to install additionally reveal.js, and so we can export our markdown files to nice HTML slideshows. So now adding to the path variable, I just did a Google search on Windows add command to path. That's the link that we already did look at last time, and here we can see what we need to do. So we need to go to my computer properties and then set the environment variable. So I will do this here on my Windows 8 machine. I have here my computer, right click, then properties, and here advanced system settings, and now we have environment variables, and here we want to adjust it, and that's already set up from last time. So to the variable named path we add this value, which is just the path to our local pandoc directory. So I click OK and OK here, and now pandoc should work in every directory. And also this setting now should be persistent across system restarts. Okay, so let's close this, and again let's start our command prompt. So just click Windows button and X, and now here we have the command prompt. And now if I go to my documents, and let's see what's in here. Okay, there are still my slides. So if I type here pandoc help, now pandoc seems to be working because it is on the path. So the next thing is we want to export our markdown file to HTML, and we do this with the command pandoc and to reveal.js from markdown, and our original file is this one, and our new file should be called example.html. Okay, this should work. Let's take a look at the result, and here we have our result. And now we already have HTML, but as you can see, it's not a slideshow yet, because all the style information, the CSS files, are still missing. And in order to get these CSS files, we just need to download the reveal.js package and just put it in our current directory. So let's go to the reveal.js page. We want to go to the GitHub source code, and now we click on download. And as you can see, our download did start and it's already finished. So let's go to downloads, take this here, and now go to documents and paste it here, and we will extract it, which is quite fast. And now we have our reveal.js master here, and we copy all these files here, or we just cut them, and make here a new folder, which should be called reveal.js, and here we paste our files. So our files need to be in a folder called reveal.js, otherwise the relative paths won't be working. So it must not be named reveal.js master, but only reveal.js. So I delete the other ones. Okay, now let's reload our file here. Okay, and we will see nothing has changed. And the reason is that if we inspect the source code, here, then we can see that it's not a standalone HTML file. So we don't have any header, it's just the body of a HTML document. So in order to get the header, we need to use a slightly different option to pandoc. So I'm going to close this here. And now again pandoc, and we use exactly the same command, but we add an additional -s option, which means we want to compile it as a standalone document. So now we go to our browser, and if I reload it, then you can see, well, something did change, because if we now look at the source code, we have our header included, and so we have the link here to the CSS file, and this will change the appearance of our text. But still, as you can see, this is not a slideshow, so something is missing. So let's take a look again at the source code compilation. And now what you can see here is that there are 3 errors. And if we look at the error, then we see that the reveal.js CSS reveal.min.css file is missing, and here also the reveal.min.js file is missing. Okay, so let's look at our reveal folder. So it should be here in CSS, and we see, well, the file is really missing, and the same is for the JS file. Here also we have no reveal.min.js file. So this is one of the problems with open source. So the pandoc open source software kind of uses under the hood reveal.js, but in its newest version, it's still pointing to paths or to files that were available in reveal.js in an older version. And now in the newest version, these 2 files are just missing. So we need to adapt for the fact that they are not there, and kind of this bug is not yet fixed. So we now want to do a slight workaround here. So this is the kind of, or at least that's what I think. So the reveal.min.js file is the minimum required code, and this should be the full code. So what we do is just we copy it and paste it again, but this time we rename it, and we name it reveal.min, and we don't need the file extension because it's already a JavaScript file. So the same is what we do here. So we have this file which I copy and paste, and now I rename it into reveal.min. Okay, and now let's reload our page, and what we get is the slideshow, and as you can see, we have a nice HTML slideshow. But as you can see, our mathematical formulas are still not rendered yet. So we still need to kind of point out to math checks in order to render this here in the correct way. So usually if you have mathematical formulas in HTML, they are rendered with math checks. So this is the homepage, which is currently not available. I don't know why. Okay, but we can see the source code here on GitHub as well. So what we need to do now is that somewhere in our HTML code we need to point to the math checks library so that mathematical formulas are rendered correctly. So let's take a look at the source once again, and I'll just put it down here. And now let's look at sources, and now let's reload this. So somewhere inside here we need to point to mathjax, and the simplest way to do this is just to tell pandoc to directly include it. So we add another option here, and now let's just reload the page, and still, as you can see, it's not working because the problem is here. We have the correct link, kind of correct link, so that's the URL we'd like to have, but we don't have here, or we treat it like if it were a local file. So that's just another bug in the current version of pandoc, and now we will try to fix this. So what we will do is we will download mathjax and use a local version instead. So let's go to mathjax and download. So now when the download is finished, we have here our mathjax, and we cut it, we paste it into our documents folder, and here we're going to extract it. Okay. And once we have extracted it, we take all these files, we cut them, we paste them here, delete this unnecessary folder, and we're gonna rename this file to simply mathjax. So now we got the local version of mathjax. So the zip file we don't need anymore. And what we're going to do now is update our reveal template. And therefore, let's Google for cgroll at GitHub, not the gist. And here we have repositories and the pandoc slides. And from this one, we just copy the template. So we have here the reveal.js template for which it is working, and here is the part about mathjax. So that's what we copy, and that's what we put in our reveal template file where we previously had mathjax. So here, and this does two things. So the first thing is to tell here, to use here a local path. So we don't use the URL anymore. And this part here is something that tells pandoc how we format our mathematical equations in markdown. So our mathematical equations should start with $, and well, this is kind of a configuration of mathjax. Let's see whether it works. So we again open our command prompt, go to documents, okay, and now the complete command will be, well, we start from markdown and want to reveal.js, and then the file should be called example.html, and what we want to use is the slides and the text, and we need this template option. So we tell mathjax, we tell pandoc to use this file here. So this is, we specify here the full path, so Christian documents, and then it's called reveal template.txt. And now let's do this, and let's reload our slides. And now it works. Perfect.